is it? Answer your phone, son. This is your boy, man.
Hi, welcome to Live with Barb and Ray.
I'm Barb.
And I'm Ray. Today we have a fun-packed, exciting schedule of things to talk about.
Fun-packed and exciting?
Yeah, did that sound right? Wrong?
Not really, but that's okay.
Did we start over?
No,
just kidding. We don't start over because we're doing it live. All right. So today we're going to talk about, we just got back from being in Washington, D.C.
Yes, we did.
So
it rained.
It rained.
A lot.
Yep. So we're going to talk about our Washington, D.C. trip. We are going to talk about the BRE has a new task force that everyone should really know about. We are going to talk about some code of ethics changes, or one code of ethics change.
Yeah, but a big one.
We had a recent top producer lunch that we are going to tell you about. And then we are going to be talking with Chelsea Peitz. She will be joining us later. She's going to be our keynote speaker at our PWRAgent Summit.
Yep.
So our DC trip.
Yeah.
It was very exciting. We got to meet with our local congressmen, and we met with Ed Royce, Alan Lowenthal, and Lou Correa. Lou Correa is now my new best friend.
He is.
Really cool.
He is.
So let's talk about some of the stuff we did.
Yeah, so, you know, I think that what's important for the members to know is what we actually do in DC. So we go mid-year. This is called mid-year meetings or the legislative meetings. They happen every year in May. And your NAR directors and leadership go to Washington, D.C. The beginning of our trip is focused on lobbying and going to the actual United States Capitol and meeting with our congressman that Ray talked about. And the second half of our trip are NAR actual meetings where the directors meet and have committee meetings and make have a board meeting and vote on changes at the national level. So really important stuff. And I think what would be interesting for our members to know is what we did in our lobbying efforts. And a couple of important things we talked about with our congressman. I think the most exciting things for Californians is that, you know, we all know that tax reform went through and there's something called SALT, which is state and local taxes. And you all know that now we are capped at a $10,000 write-off for our state and local taxes.
Yeah.
And what that really institutes is a marriage penalty. Because as a married couple, you can write off $10,000, and if your neighbor is single, they can write off $10,000 as well. So it really creates a marriage penalty. So we talked to our specifically California elected officials about how that would be a really important change that they could help make that would make things better for California constituents. And then also that $10,000 cap needs to be indexed for inflation. Because think about 10 years from now. 10 years from now, is $10,000 going to make sense with what's going to happen in our economy? Probably not.
Not at all.
So we got some really good engagement from them. They were very open to it, very receptive to it, and we hope that'll be some positive change that the National Association of Realtors can help make at our federal level.
And to put it a little bit more into perspective, if you watch our last episode of Live with Barb and Ray, we were in Sacramento.
Yes.
Washington, D.C. was pretty much the same thing, but on a national scale.
Yep.
So just a bigger thing. You meet with people from all across the country, which is kind of neat. You make a lot of connections.
Yeah.
I got to walk down to the Washington Monument and around the reflecting pool, and that was the only one day it wasn't raining, and it happened to be 95 degrees and humid. So, but it was still nice to get out and see that kind of stuff and meet a lot of cool new people.
Yeah, and know that at the national level, we're doing a lot of important things. And one of, I think, the most exciting things we did was as a board of directors, we meet on Saturday morning, and we have a national board of directors meeting. So it's board of directors from all over the nation. And we made a huge change to our code of ethics. It'll happen January 1st, I believe. It's with regards to presentation of offers. We know we have that issue in Southern California specifically where you get super frustrated to know if your offer was even presented, right? Does the agent ever communicate to you that your offer was actually presented? Because at the end of the day, it's not necessarily to the benefit of us, it's to the benefit of our clients to know that their offer was presented if they don't receive a counteroffer. And so the change to the Code of Ethics, I'm going to read it verbatim so I don't mess it up. It's a change to Standard of Practice 1.7. A listing broker or agent is required to respond in writing that an offer was submitted to the seller if the cooperating broker who submitted the offer so requests. The listing broker or agent must respond in the affirmative unless the seller has provided written notification waiving the obligation to have the offer presented. I'm so excited about this. Yeah. So what that means is if I have a deal going with Ray, or I made an offer on one of Ray's listings, and I ask Ray, was my offer presented? Ray is going to have to respond in writing to me. I would assume an email format would be sufficient that my offer was presented And then that's great information that I can then share with my clients to put their peace of mind that their offer actually was presented. And I had a lot of realtors when I came back from DC ask, well, what about the presentation of offer section on, I believe, page 10 of our contract? Well, yes, that's great written proof. Every state in the nation doesn't have a contract like ours. So that's why it was written as you have to give written notification, whether that's an email, whether that's signing page 10 and sending it. Just some kind of communication that your offer was presented.
It was kind of cool to know that this isn't just a California thing, because obviously we know we deal with this a lot. Lori deals with it a lot here. So knowing that it's going on across the country isn't really comforting. It's almost sad. But at least
but we're not
now,
alone. Californians, we're not alone. It's not just the Southern California market that's dealing with this.
Speaking of professionalism, there's a couple things I want to talk about. Today on the way in, I don't know if you can tell, but we wing this. We get here in the morning and we say, what are we going to talk about? So this morning I walked into Lori's office and I asked her, what's the biggest thing you're seeing right now that we should discuss and try to bring to the attention of the members? And she said, I hate to say it, but it's the same stuff. It's advertising and it's professionalism. She told me a story that my jaw dropped, actually. She said, an agent walks into an open house with their clients, and
so a buyer's agent with a buyer,
with their buyers, and she's chatting it up with the listing agent, her clients there. The listing agent actually handed her clients a card and said, if it doesn't work out with your agent, you can always call me. Can you believe that? Like, I'm shocked.
I honestly don't want to believe it.
Yeah, and so Lori today, she gave me, it's pretty cool. It's called the Pathways to Professionalism. She said a lot of
This is
offices,
an NAR document, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, this is an NAR document.
A lot of offices actually hang this in their office. And you know, the first thing is the one, respect for the public. Follow the golden rule. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you.
Yeah, would that listing agent want someone to do that to her with her buyer if she walked into an open house?
And
I don't think so.
It's just ridiculous. Respect for property. Be responsible for everyone you allow to enter listed property. This is all common sense stuff, and it really feels like in our industry there's no common sense left, unfortunately.
No. I love this document. When I teach ethics, I always tell the agents that if you follow every single one of these pathways to professionalism, you will never have an issue. Yeah. It would be impossible if all of us embodied. It's like the 10 commandments of real estate. Yeah. But there's a lot more than 10.
Like 30.
Yeah.
But if you guys would like a copy of this, just email us at Live with Barb and Ray, and we can make sure one is emailed back to you. Yeah. But just come on, guys, stay classy out there, right?
Right.
We have to stay classy out there.
Speaking of issues in our industry, I'm curious how many members open their real estate bulletin that comes from the California Bureau of Real Estate, soon to be the Department of Real Estate. Clearly, Ray does not. Guys, this newsletter actually comes from Wayne Bell. All of you get it. If you don't get it, then possibly the BRE/DRE has your wrong email address. So I would correct that if you aren't receiving this. But I noticed something very interesting in this month. This just came out spring 2018, and this is again directly from our commissioner. I'm going to read it so I don't mess it up.
Yeah.
Commissioner to form Cal BRE Enforcement Task Force. Do you know what that means?
It's a big deal.
It's a big deal. Yeah. So that means he's creating a task force to address and take appropriate disciplinary action against team names and related advertising and branding violations. That means that he's creating a task force to go out and look for and address and make some people an example, unfortunately, that aren't following team names. And it specifically talks about how he's going to form an internal task force at the California Bureau of Real Estate to focus on, address, and to take appropriate remedial and disciplinary action against those real estate professionals and the brokers who supervise them who violate the clear requirements for the use of team names, and it will also tackle branding and false advertising practices of salespersons and brokers who mislead the public into believing that the salesperson are brokers. So we've talked about this, I think, on every single episode.
And it's still going on.
It's still going on.
And everywhere.
So especially if you're a team, make sure that you are putting your broker's information on everything. The team
and prominently,
not microscopic.
I think we've talked about it needs to be the same size. I think we've come to the conclusion it doesn't need to be the same size, but it needs to be pretty obvious on your sign.
Where if a commissioner, because there's the commissioner and then he has local commissioners. If a commissioner looks at your sign, can he quickly identify what broker you work for? super important. But the team name issue is also that I think most people don't know that if you have a team, it has to have the surname of one of the team members in the team name. If it's just the, you know, Good Life team, I don't even know if there's a team called that, but if it's just the Good Life team, then you have to have the proper DBA filed with the Bureau of Real Estate, approved by your broker. There's lots of steps you have to go for, and clearly they're tired of it because they're going after people.
I can tell you, as I drive around on the weekends, I was taking pictures and sending them to Lori, and now I just don't even, I don't
She's
know how,
inundated
yeah,
right
she is
now.
inundated.
She's inundated with these, and unfortunately it's gone to the state level, and we warned you. So
Yeah.
I don't want to see any PWR members be made an example. So if you haven't checked out the advertising video, watch it please. If you have questions, call into the association. We're happy to answer questions. And I don't want any of our members to be made an example.
And I think the people watching the video, because obviously not all PWR members watch the video, but you that are watching right now, tell people in your office, share this information.
If you see it, tell somebody.
That's the purpose of this whole show, is to get information to you guys, for you guys to share it with everyone you know as well. So hopefully we're doing that. What do we got next? We have Top Producer Lunch. So we recently did a Top Producer Lunch in one of our areas where what we did was we checked the MLS, figure out who's doing the most real estate in a certain area, and we invite them to a lunch, and we bring up some of the issues that we've talked about in all our videos, but then we ask, what are the issues you guys want to talk about? The two biggest things that stood out to us this time around was that a lot of these top agents don't really know what RED is. I don't know if any of you guys watching know what RED is. It's Rapid Ethics Delivery. And what that is you see a sign for the signs is a perfect example. You see that sign, you take a picture of it, and you go on our website, and
a one-page form.
There's a one-page form you fill out, and it's not a whole hearing. It's anonymous, right? It's an anonymous. That's a hard word to say. Say that 5 times fast.
Right.
So it's anonymous. It gets sent to Lori, and what she does is she calls the responsible broker and she calls the agent, and it's pretty much just it's a slap on the hand. It's a warning.
It's education.
Hey, your signs aren't in compliance. We're going to give you a certain amount of time. Don't do it again. Whatever it is, and then it's kept on file. So if that agent starts to get 3, 4, 5. We know, and it's a good way to kind of keep up on people, and it's a good way for us to police ourselves without too much paperwork. Essentially is really what it comes down to.
So look at RED and use it. It's there for a reason. Unfortunately, it's only PWR member to PWR member, so if it's a member of another association, RED won't work. It's our internal program, but it's great, and it helps just clear up the miscommunication, the confusion, and creates an education aspect to it. So, yeah.
And then the other thing that we brought up with all these agents is RPAC. So we have these pins on, and what do you say about these pins?
It's my most expensive piece of jewelry I own that I renew.
Yeah. So why don't you explain that to us?
So, we were really interested to see the engagement level of our top producers when they really understood what RPAC does. So RPAC is your Realtor Political Action Committee, I believe. It's our PAC, or otherwise known as the Realtor Action Fund. And it's where you can give an increased amount of political dollars to the association that helps at the state, local, state, and national level, but most importantly with rent control. We've put a lot of money behind rent control in Long Beach and in Santa Ana. We're making really good progress, and none of that activity comes without the political contributions. And that's what I think our top producers were most excited to understand and want to contribute. So I really encourage you to go to our website, go to the state website, find the websites. Realtor Action Fund, I believe, is a website. You can contribute there, and you can really make an effective change in our industry.
Yeah. For sure.
So the last thing that we're here today to do is I'm so excited to interview Chelsea Peitz. Chelsea Peitz is one of our keynote speakers for our Agent Summit coming up on June 21st. If you haven't registered, we are already about halfway to capacity. Highly encourage you to register soon. And we're going to hear from her today about kind of a little teaser on what she's going to talk about when she comes down to Orange County. And I think you guys will be really impressed. She's has been in our shoes. She's been a realtor, been a title rep, and then was a VP of marketing for a national title company out of Phoenix, Arizona. She gets what we're doing. She walks in our shoes. I've learned a ton from her, and we're excited to share her with the members. So let's check Chelsea out.
Hi everyone, we are back. We are about to interview Chelsea Peitz. Peitz. Peitz, I'm sorry.
Yes.
She is Barbara Betts' new best friend, and I'm just going to let you handle it. I'm just going to sit here and look pretty.
So, good wingman. So Chelsea's not my best friend. Well, I think she's my best friend, but I don't know if she thinks I'm her best friend. But anyways, we're so excited to have one of our keynote speakers here today, Chelsea Peitz, again, that Ray introduced. She's going to talk about old school relationships and in the world of new school technology. And what I love about that is I'm all about relationships. I'm all about doing real estate by relationship. And Chelsea just brings in that whole technology spin on it. And yes, we did meet on Snapchat. Yes, I did become obsessed with what she was talking about. And I did get a girl crush on her. And I would love to call her my best friend. I don't know if Chelsea thinks I'm her best friend, but we developed a relationship and here we are. So she's going to share with us all that she's going to, a little sneak peek of what she's going to talk about at our Agent Summit. And so Chelsea, welcome. Share with us what you're going to share with us on June 21st.
Thank you for the invitation. Yes, I think it's really important for people to know. I've been in the real estate industry for over 17 years. I was a realtor myself, earning my living as a real estate agent for over 10 years before Facebook even existed. So we didn't use social media back in the old days. Didn't even have the Facebook. I think maybe MySpace was around, but you were not using that for business. And so I really like to marry the old school with the new school technology because you know, I am a woman of a certain age, not a very young millennial. And I don't have kids that are using it. My kids are small, so my son's not old enough to use these things. And I also go to a ton of conferences and see a lot of people who are not practitioners. And that drives me crazy. And I want to align myself and learn from people who've been in the trenches, who do it, who are using the stuff that they're teaching and know it works. And also, I need somebody to kind of like break it down in a really simple, like how to do formula. That's just how my brain works. So that's my passion. My passion is teaching real estate agents and professionals how to grow their business and make more money doing what they love by using the free tools that we all have, how to use them in a really professional way, how to use them in a way that highlights you, even if you are afraid to get on camera, you hate how your voice sounds, you're a private person, you feel like your life is boring. I've heard it all. So I'm really excited to come out there to be sharing the stage with some amazing people and really talk about camera first branding and building a powerful personal brand and how to leverage the free stuff that everybody is on. And how to do it in a really professional, human, authentic way. Because we hear those buzzwords all the time and people are like, oh, authenticity, storytelling, blah, 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 blah. What does that really mean, right?
So I've seen it in my own business and you've inspired me to do it more. You create conversations in a way you would never imagine just by being relatable. So let's talk about what relatability means and what you're going to share with our members about being relatable.
Relatability is the most under-leveraged marketing tactic today. And the funny thing is we get wrapped up in our brains and it's like that paralysis by analysis where we think, well, how do I be relatable? No, you already are. And the only way to really get relatable and get really good at being on camera is to do it over and over and over and over again. And for me, one day I just got tired and I was like, you know what? I am not putting on these eyebrows today. People are seeing me in the wild, okay? And then I was really all business focused, all business all the time, because I read all the blogs, I read all the books that says, you know, talk about this kind of content, be consistent, blah, 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 blah. So I did what I thought was the right thing and I kept at it and eventually it evolved like everything does. And there was one day where I had a hysterical story, I'm sure I'll share it on stage with my son, and I went live and I got more engagement off of that. And then I realized that we have the wrong idea about value. We have an idea that value is in a box, and if I don't give you a tip, a market report, or what have you, I'm not giving you value. But there is value in making someone smile, in making someone cry, in making someone laugh with you. There is a value in that, and that's when it exponentially shifted for me. When people could relate to me as like the person, maybe I was the hot mess mom that day, which is pretty much every day. So those things really, really do make a difference. And it is a mindset shift that we have to get out of our own heads thinking it's self-absorbed to talk about myself. I don't want to share my private life. There are ways to do that with still being private, still being professional. And it's just practice. That's all it is. It's a habit.
So I know you'll tell everyone at the event, but to give everyone a sneak peek, you know, you built your entire brand off of a daily Snapchat marketing show, and you did it consistently for 1 year called Chell's Chat. And that's where I caught you. And then you left your job at a national title company to do the speaking and training and educating all over the nation. So if I don't know if that's not proof that it works, I don't know what is. So tell us more about that.
Yes, and the funny thing is that, you know, I look at my business partner who I met on Snapchat, and I created a company with this person. And I've worked on 100 different global projects with people in different countries that I've never even met before. And I talk to those people every day, and they are adult professionals, PhDs, doctors, lawyers, attorneys. And, you know, it still kind of weirds me out because, like, I remember the OG Encyclopedia Britannica. That was the original internet. I remember like a long distance call was pulling that cord as long as you could into the other room. So I didn't grow up with this. And, you know, I thought, well, I've been really successful in business without using social media, so I can continue to do that. So it still sounds weird to me as somebody who says, yeah, I've met my best friends on Snapchat. It's bizarre. And I also teach a lot about how to use the media side of social media. And the socials, the organic, the conversations, the media is the paid, the advertising, Facebook ads, etc. Even though I know that, I know the techniques, I teach it, I built my brand, 0 ads. You can do it. It's time or money. You're paying one or the other, right? So, yeah, it can happen. Whatever you put your mind to, you'll figure it out and do it, like anything that we do. So I'm really excited to kind of talk about my personal journey and hopefully inspire some folks.
Well, thank you, Chelsea, for taking the time to
best friend, Chelsea,
to come out and have this little short interview with us. We hope that the membership sees the value in Chelsea and that you come out and see her and Lee Brown, and come out to the Agent Summit and learn a lot of good information. So stay classy out there, PWR.